Got a bit of a tidbit yesterday, and it shouldn't be a surprise, but it sounds like Matthew Knies, his camp is slow playing the situation. No rush to get a deal done. For my money, I think this gets done next summer. He's playing better and better and better. But that's just sort of the latest on the contract front when it comes to Matthew Knies. Are you surprised?
No, I mean, his stock's only going up. He's only getting more experience. He's only getting more confidence. If I was his camp, I wouldn't be in a big hurry. If I was the Leafs, if you wanted to get it done, get it done. But from my point of view, he's going to be a Leaf for a considerable amount of time. They're going to re-sign him. It's just not something that's on my mind all that strongly.
I thought it was interesting too that Jake Neighbors signs yesterday, 2-year deal, 3.75 mil per season. Of course, the Blues will be in town coming up on Thursday. But Neighbors has the same agent as Matthew Knies. He's the same age as Matthew Knies, scored 27 goals last year. So you wonder if they use 3.75 AAV as a starting point for negotiations. Like, I mean,
Mm.
I think we can both agree that Matthew Knies is a better player than Jake Neighbors. Neighbors, I think, has 30 some odd more games of NHL experience, but it'll be interesting to see and hear sort of the contract comparables in the conversations as we move forward here.
Yeah, it will be. I didn't know they were that comparable with like games played age and points and whatnot. You could argue that Matthews brings in a different element of physicality and that grinder power forward style, which would bump his stock a little bit. But if he did do a little 2-year, call it a little bridge type deal to get you to some big money, I wouldn't be surprised. And let him grow and blossom and get the Leafs to take him at I think he's probably considerably. He's worth a lot to the Leafs. To lose him would be devastating. And, he's still young. So maybe a deal like that where you do pay him, 3-some million bucks is fair and honest and easy. But then after that deal, I imagine he's going to be bumped up considerably and then he'll be getting paid with some long-term contracts is my guess. And I think that makes sense. And I think that's fair.
Yeah, that'll be the tricky part of this whole thing is do you bridge him like St. Louis did with Jake Neighbors, or do you just give him an 8-year contract? And again, if you pay him for 8 years, you're going to have to pay him accordingly. That's going to be 5, 6, maybe even 7 million bucks per season. That's why I think the ball is certainly in the Nice's camp's court, where it's like, hey, if I have a breakout campaign, I get 25 plus goals, I get 50, 55 plus points. They're sitting pretty in negotiations, in my opinion.
Yeah, it'll be up to him and what kind of personality he does. Does he want to bet on himself and quote unquote risk it a bit, or do you want to have that security and that long term understanding of where you sit and what you're making and how much security you have, where you're going to be? It depends what kind of person he is. I remember driving to the rink with Wayne Simmons and he took a long term contract and he goes, man, I just want it off my mind. I just want to know I'm locked down. I just want to be secure and not have to think about it and just basically you know cash out in a way, but there is a way you could cash out even more. He goes, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to have contract time come up again in a couple of years. I don't want to be worried about, am I having a good enough year to bump he just wanted to be done with it and took a long-term deal. That made sense to me. But there's, the risk of that is there's going to become a time on your 4th, 5th year where you constantly get better and you're more valuable to the team and everyone looks at you and says, wow, you're underpaid. And then you got to live with the fact that I could be making more, pretty first world problems, obviously for the average person. But I think we'll have to see what Matthew Knies wants to do, if it is an option for him to take a little bridge deal like that and see where he goes, or if he wants to lock it down. I think it'll be up to him. And I think the Leafs would probably rather lock him down early. I think his stock's going up and he's going to be a valuable part of this outfit.
Make sure to check out more of our content right here on the Leafs Nation YouTube page. We got long form interviews, we got clips, we got epic rants by Jay Rosehill. We simply have it all. And don't forget, you can find out much more at theleafsnation.com. Thanks so much for watching.